Regina, Mater misericordiae, vita dulcedo, estes nostra salve.
The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Mark. On another occasion, Jesus began to teach by the sea. A very large crowd gathered around him, so that he got into a boat on the sea and sat down. And the whole crowd was beside the sea on land, and he taught them at length in parables. And in the course of his instruction, he said to them, "Hear this. A sower went out to sow, and as he sowed, some seed fell on the path. The birds came and ate it up. Other seed fell on rocky ground, where it had little soil. It sprang up at once, because the soil was not deep. And when the sun rose, it was scorched and withered for lack of roots. Some seed fell among thorns, and the thorns grew up, and it choked, and produced no grain. And some seed fell on rich soil, and produced fruit. It came up and grew and yielded 30, 60, and 100-fold. He added, Whoever has ears ought to hear. And when he was alone, those present along with the 12 questioned him about the parables. He answered them, The mystery of the kingdom of God has been granted to you. But to those outside, everything comes in parables, so that they may look and not see. They may look and see, but not perceive, and hear and listen, but not understand, in order that they may be converted and be forgiven. Jesus said to them, Do you not understand this parable? Then how will you understand any of the parables? The sower sows the word. These are ones on the path where the word is sown. As soon as they hear, Satan comes at once and takes away the word sown in them. And these are the ones sown on rocky ground, who, when they hear the word, receive it at once with joy, but they have no roots. They last only for a time. When the tribulations or persecutions come because of the word, they quickly fall away. Those sown among thorns are another sort. They are the people who hear the word, but worldly anxieties, the lure of riches, and the cravings for other things intrude and choke the word, and it bears no fruit. But those sown on rich soil are the ones who hear the word and perceive it, and bear fruit 30 and 60 and 100-fold. The Gospel of the Lord. In the letter to the Hebrews, Jesus is described as seated at the throne, fixed, still. And in the gospel, he often is pictured as teaching standing, but in this case, he is seated, still, and fixed. It's an image of something that, as I was reading this, affects all of us. I was thinking this morning of how many things leave me agitated, and things that I might go to do to relax or to even have some leisure or the pretense of leisure, and they leave me disturbed or agitated. Like you might look at your Facebook account and think, oh, I need to look at this, and you think that's going to be a relaxing experience, and then when you're done, you're ready to kill a few people. Okay, you see, or you may you may have a game on the phone or whatever, and you start getting frustrated because the iPhone is beating you badly over this game, and you leave agitated. Or the other night, something happened to me which it doesn't happen to me that often, but I fell asleep while watching TV. And when I finally went to bed, but I got up in the morning, I was like, what? I just feel so terrible. Well, I should have gone to bed an hour earlier is what should have happened, but I was allowing myself to have a disturbing leisure. We're so busy and we clutter ourselves with so much agitation. And so in my own prayer this morning, what I was hearing the Lord speak to my heart about was that there's paths crisscrossing my field, lots of rocks in there, and there's thorns everywhere. And these are all the things that I allow to agitate me, that I don't have to get into. And it's like he was telling me, why don't you sit still and pray a little bit more instead of some of these other things? Why don't you take time to sit still with me, and let's take a look at what's disturbing you and start clearing your field. And I was thinking, what a beautiful image of prayer. Because often we see prayer as idle time, wasted time. Oh, I don't have time for that. But imagine to have the stillness of heart, to sit down and say, Jesus, would you mind helping me to clear the field a little bit? And look at some of these agitations. That is surely not wasted time, but it's time letting a field grow. And when you stop and think about it, all these things that agitate, a seed cannot grow if it's disturbed in the soil. It needs to be undisturbed in the soil. It needs to sit in the soil and be allowed to break open and extend roots and be undisturbed so it can grow a stalk and progress. And so perhaps that's a message to share with you this morning, to sit in the field and allow the Lord to reveal where our agitations are, these rocks and thistle and crisscrossing paths that trample down things. Let him reveal these things to us so we could clear the field and instead delight in the serenity of sitting with him.
Regina Celi, letare, alleluia, qui aquam meruisti portare, alleluia, resurrexit sicut dixit,